In 2022, Balenciaga released an ad campaign with some questionable choices. This campaign would bring to light a series of mysterious and suspicious claims about the brand, their secret nefarious deeds, and a possible satanic cult.
So Balenciaga is...
Balenciaga child exploitation controversy.
Is Balenciaga hiding a child trafficking cult in plain sight? The Twitterverse is always ablaze with the latest outrage, so when something rises to the top of everyone's list, you know it is a big deal. That is exactly what happened when Balenciaga released a series of ads that were unwise at best and had unsettling and disturbing ramifications at worst. The ads were promoting their holiday plushies, which were adorned in leather BDSM straps, suggesting the bears were down for something kinky. By itself, this is not a problem. The concerns arose when every single promotional photo had a small child holding the bears. Balenciaga. The world cried, why would you place this hyper-sexualized bear in the hands of a child? The company did release an apology post later, but the question stands, how many levels of approval did this campaign have to go through? Did all these people think this was okay? Or was this intentional with something more sinister at play? Doing what they do best, the sleuths on the internet got to digging. One way or another, they were going to get to the bottom of this. There was no way a major corporation signed off on such a blatantly problematic ad on accident. It didn't take long for these online detectives to start finding even more concerning content. Kim Kardashian once wore a Balenciaga outfit that was made to look like police tape. On the tape, instead of police, the name of the brand was printed. However, keen-eyed viewers noticed that in several spaces, Balenciaga was misspelled as Balenciaga. Noting that Balenciaga spends far too much money on their designs, this could only have been intentional. The name of Baal, an ancient cult god, being slipped into the Balenciaga dress was perplexing. Why are they promoting this Canaanite god? What does a god of fertility and rainfall have to do with luxury clothes? More than you might expect, it seems. There have long been theories that some of the rich and powerful have attained their fame, wealth, and good looks through supernatural means. Some have speculated deals with the devil, and others have posited that the blood of children may have a healing effect on adults. When we consider ancient Canaanites would perform ritual human sacrifices to Baal in exchange for fertility and rain for their crops, one can easily see the connection. The rich and powerful of the ancient world sacrificed children to this dark god for wealth and health. So why would the rich and powerful of today's world not do the same? But this little hint on Kim K's dress was far from the only evidence they turned up. Oh no, this was only the beginning. In a different ad, even more disturbing images were found, and some of these were even more explicit in their meaning. This ad also included a child, and not so coincidentally also had the Balenciaga tape, this time wrapped around the child's chair. The roll of tape was also sitting on a table in the foreground of the photo, showing the misspelling front and center. There was no mistaking it for anything else this time. There is plenty more to be found in this particular ad. In the background, there is a child's drawing of the devil. It's rather clear what is being depicted here. A black, humanoid body with a red head and horns. What reason could there possibly be for this image? Theorists believe, given the other evidence surrounding the controversy, that this was placed in the ad to pay homage to what or who Balenciaga's leadership sees as the source of their success. Perhaps the deal with the devil idea is not so far-fetched after all. In the same image, there is a single candle to one side of the child and a black hood to the other. The placement of these objects not only in the ad, but surrounding the child seem ritualistic. The candle is ready to be lit, and the cloak is ready to be worn. The story that is being told here is that the child in the ad is ready to perform some type of ritual, either to the devil or to Baal. And all of this is under the watchful eye of the teddy bear. In the corner, half facing the camera and half facing the child, we have our BDSM teddy bear, watching or directing everything that is about to happen. In another ad in this line, there is a young child, maybe 4 years old, holding the BDSM bear. On the bed before them, they have placed images of luxury: sunglasses, bags, purses, and jewelry. On the wall behind them are dragons, and off to the side is a black cat, suggesting some dark magic has brought these items. But at what cost? Is this ad trying to tell us that the child is the cost, or is the child receiving these gifts and must now pay the price? It has long been believed that the rich and powerful have engaged in cult activity, but it has never been as front and center as it appears to be with Balenciaga. In their official statements, the creative director and the brand itself both condemned child abuse, but skirted subtly past the other issues at hand. Nothing was said about having these children photographed in sexual situations, and the elements of magic and darkness were left ignored, almost as if they wanted to divert the narrative towards something that was not necessarily the issue at hand. Child abuse was not necessarily what was being depicted here. If the cultish elements of the ads are set aside, the primary point of controversy was the sexual nature of the objects and situations. Not only were children involved and present, but these images are taken in what seems to be their bedrooms. The unnerving content stretches beyond what is actually shown in their ads to their influences. Balenciaga and their creative team seem to enjoy the work of an artist named Michael Boreman. His dark and shocking artwork has been publicly stated as being an inspiration for Balenciaga's creative team. This is an artist who depicts repression, abuse, and violence, often involving children. This artist's work is quite graphic, so the connections to his style may be muffled, but his art books have shown up in several Balenciaga ads. Now, interestingly enough, not only does Boreman depict violence and abuse towards children, but he also paints images of dark rituals and cult activity. While it can be easy to hand-wave the idea that the creative team simply likes to be edgy and likes his work, it is the inclusion of cult imagery in both their respective work that should concern everyone. One of the leaders of the creative team, Lada Volkova, draws particular interest in this regard. Not only was she one of the primary decision-makers on the controversial ad campaigns, but her personal interests line up with everything we have talked about so far to an uncomfortable degree. Her Instagram has been turned to private, but many of her posts have been saved and reposted elsewhere. Among them are many depictions of violent or sexual acts performed on people who appear to be very young. She also has a love of teddy bears, especially bears that are placed in, shall we say, adult situations. The real nail in the coffin here is her love of the occult. Her Instagram is littered with outright and graphic depictions of occult activity, human sacrifices, and homages to demonic entities. Among them, interestingly, is Moloch. Moloch is often linked with Baal, and some scholars believe Moloch was merely another name for Baal. Moloch was often depicted as being a humanoid figure with the head of a bull, and is believed to be the inspiration for many modern depictions of the devil today. Moloch was worshipped as a god who demanded child sacrifice and granted boons of wealth and success to his loyal followers. Volkova has multiple posts that either reference Moloch or use his name in a hashtag. The images associated with the name on her feed are disturbing, to say the least, and are only a few of hundreds of examples of her violent interests and occult-inspired style. Her team has denied any involvement in the scandal, but that is hard to believe, given her fingerprints can be seen all over the dark subliminal messaging and twisted Easter eggs found all over the campaign. Taking things further, this is not even Balenciaga's first brush with a potential sex scandal. Several creative members have been accused of sexual assault, including Jean-Luc Brunner, who notably worked with Jeffrey Epstein. Brunner was accused by numerous models of inappropriate interactions and even downright assault, and was known to introduce young models to Epstein and his team. Somehow, despite all of this being publicly available information, Balenciaga has been able to keep things quiet, sweeping it all under the rug before it could hit the news. With all these moving pieces, it is hard to nail down exactly what is going on in the art department at Balenciaga. Is it a human trafficking scheme? Is there cult activity? What exactly do all these kids have to do with whatever is going on? There are several possibilities, and none of them are very pretty. What we do know is that they got too brave and put too much of the truth out there for us to see. Now, the eyes of internet detectives around the globe are watching Balenciaga's every move, and when they slip up again, even more pieces of the puzzle will fall into place. Until then, all we can do is watch and wait, hoping that whatever dark plot is in play doesn't come knocking at our doors.